Coming up in this week's episode of the Theme Park News Show, as the Disneyland Resort officially opens Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I share details on what can be expected inside the new land. I also talk about Untamed at Walibi Holland, the opening of Kronosaur at Europa Park, and much more. It's Friday the 31st of May 2019, and this is the Theme Park News Show. I'm Sean Sandbrook and welcome to the Theme Park News Show. And now, as you've probably guessed already, I'm not at the World of Theme Parks. I've not repainted it this week. I'm actually sat in the middle of France in a hotel room, ready to make my way to Europa Park in Germany tomorrow morning. Yeah, it's all very exciting. I'm about halfway in to a road trip that I've done through various different theme parks in Belgium, France, and then into Germany. And it's been absolutely awesome. There's going to be lots of vlogs coming from this trip, including the first one of those that will be online tomorrow from Walibi. That was the first part that I visited. Following on from that, there's loads more videos to come that I've filmed, including Disneyland Paris, Walligator, Park St. Paul, loads of new parks that I've never been to before, along with returning to some classics like Park Asterix that I've not been to since 2014. So yes, it's quite a big trip to do, especially before our USA road trip that does start in just over a week's time. Me and Alex are going to be heading over to the United States of America, where we're going to be doing 20 different theme parks across 3 weeks. It's going to be absolutely awesome. We'll be posting lots of updates on our social media. And yeah, all of these vlogs that I filmed on this trip will all be coming online first. That's probably going to be over the next 2 to 2.5 weeks, all the vlogs that I filmed from this Europe road trip. And then that'll mean that we're straight in to the vlogs from the America trip. As you can understand, with us driving thousands of miles across America, I'm not going to have loads of time to edit lots of different videos whilst we're out there. So the whole idea is you've got a lot of new content to watch from this trip that I'm doing throughout Europe, and that'll give me time to edit some videos from the trip, make sure that I'm not rushing them and keeping them the great quality that I like them to be, and yeah, bring them straight on after the videos from this trip. So it's all very exciting. As I mentioned last week, in terms of the Theme Park News Show, next Friday's episode, as in the 7th of June 2019, will be the final episode for 3 weeks whilst we're over on the USA road trip. I'll say it once again, we've got that much stuff that we're cramming into such a short amount of time that I'm not going to have the time to round up all the news and put these together. So I will be missing 3 weeks worth, but then the series will return just in time for the summer holidays. Plan to do a lot of on-location episodes throughout the summer. So yeah, just to freshen it up, there'll be something very different. But yes, there's so many vlogs to come. In fact, I'm going to have filmed about 14 different vlogs from this trip, what I've done throughout Europe. So there's going to be so much to keep you all going over the next few weeks. I'll be straight into the America vlog. So more new content coming on the channel than there ever has been in the last 7 years. It is going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be busy. Hope you've got lots of spare time because there's going to be a lot of brand new vlogs, and it all starts from tomorrow here on Theme Park Worldwide. Anyway, let's move into the theme park news then, because there's been some awesome openings this week, including Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I'm going to talk more about it in this week's News on the Tracks. Now today's the day that many people have been waiting for all across the world, the opening day of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California. It's certainly very exciting, and me personally, as much as I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, the whole scale of this area, the rides within it, the themed experiences, it looks like it's going to be one of the best, if not the best, themed area in the world. I can't wait to head out there and experience it at Walt Disney World later this year, where it is going to be opening at the end of August. Me and Charlotte are going to be there for our big USA trip for 2 weeks towards the end of September. So we're going to get to see Galaxy's Edge there just a few weeks after it's opened. With Disneyland, it's opened a few months earlier than that of California, mainly because they started work a bit earlier and construction was going well, so they decided to open it. In terms of what's on offer inside the area, I'm going to be putting some images on your screen so you can see them, starting with this one just here, and a really nice overview of Galaxy's Edge. How incredible does it look with all the mountains, all that rock work looks fantastic. Again, the scale of it looks incredible, and also you've got to think as well, there's so many like little paths to walk around. It's not just one main ride and an area. There's so much to it, like little paths what lead into different areas and photo opportunities, shops, restaurants, meet and greets. There is so much to it. And then you've got the opening of one of the major attractions inside the land that also takes place today, as in the 31st of May 2019, and that's Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. And a lot of people have been on this in previews, and it was the grand opening ceremony the other night that was fantastic, and it's got some brilliant reviews. In terms of what the ride is, it's a simulator-based ride. However, it's all heavily themed. 6 people sit inside it, and you all get to control the Millennium Falcon. And honestly, it looks absolutely incredible. The use of screens, all the theming. You've got to imagine a bit like Star Tours if you've been on that at the Disney parks, but even more immersive, even more incredible, and you've got that whole queue line experience leading up to it with all the pre-shows. And obviously I'm going to keep this spoiler free here. I have watched some POVs of it. I think it looks absolutely incredible. However, I will just share some official images what Disney have put out there. Like I say, if you don't want to see anything at all from it, then skip on a couple of minutes from this point. But yes, this isn't really giving anything too much away. It's just the official stuff what Disney have released this week across their social media. And yeah, it looks stunning there, doesn't it? Inside the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Along with that, there's going to be the other major ride opening later this year. That's Rise of the Resistance. That's not quite finished yet. They're still putting some things together for that. It's another huge ride. You've got to think with that, it's even bigger than Smuggler's Run. There's that much stuff to it with new technology and mixing it all together, so that's taking a bit longer, and that's going to open later. So stay tuned to us here at Theme Park Worldwide, and I'll keep you up to date when that opens. But that's the opening today of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in California. They are doing timed ticket slots to go into the land. However, I'm looking forward to seeing how crazy the wait times are going to get for that today. And like I say, me personally, yes, I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy it. In terms of Harry Potter, I'm not really a massive Harry Potter fan. Charlotte is, but I'm not. However, I absolutely love all the Harry Potter stuff at the Universal parks. So that's the thing for me. It's more about how they put the experiences together and the rides themselves, all that immersive experience that I get to enjoy. Whether you like the franchises that they use or not, you're still going to get immersed into the experience. But there we go, exciting news at Disneyland. Now, it's not just a big day for Disneyland in California today. Europa Park in Germany are opening their brand new Hotel Kronosar, the museum hotel. It looks absolutely wonderful. Very heavily themed. It's actually been built quite far away from the park itself as part of a new expansion to the resort with a huge new water park that's going to be opening in November. And I do look forward to coming out here later in the year to go and see that. And I say out here because as you're watching this, I'm actually making my way to Europa Park because this evening I'm staying in the new hotel. It's a 4-star superior. It looks absolutely wonderful with all the theming. There's new restaurants, the bars, the whole outdoor area at the back looks wonderful where you'll be able to sit there, and once it's all complete you'll look over towards all the themed facades of Rulantica, which is that new water park. I've shared a lot of updates about Rulantica. There's another look at a concept image for it so you can see it. However, I'm really excited for staying in this hotel tonight, putting a video together, and that's something you'll see as part of the vlogs from this Europe road trip over the next couple of weeks on the channel. But yeah, the hotel itself looks wonderful. It's huge, it's very heavily themed all around Scandinavia, and as much as I'm not going to get to see the rebuild of the Scandinavia area this trip like I originally hoped I was going to, it's completely understandable that the project has been delayed because of how much they've done. I mean, you've got to think the fire was only a year ago and they've nearly completely rebuilt that full area, which is incredible. And like I said last week, I'll keep you up to date on that with when it opens. They say at some point in June, so I'll definitely get some construction updates and post them on social media this week. So make sure you give us a like on our social media pages. You can find links down below in the video description. Now, something a bit more serious now to talk about, and that was an incident that took place yesterday, as in the 30th of May 2019 at Lightwater Valley. It's a theme park in North Yorkshire back in the UK, where a young boy actually fell from the Twister roller coaster. It's a spinning coaster. I've been on it many times myself. In fact, only a few weeks ago, me and Charlotte were there having a day at the park, and we went on the coaster. Now, these are just the facts that we know at the moment. A young boy did fall from the ride. In terms of what happened following that, the ride was emergency stopped straight away. An air ambulance was brought in where the young boy was airlifted to hospital. They then released the fact that the young boy was okay. It's not a life-threatening injury, and the ride was going to remain closed. HSE are coming in to do a complete check over and find out exactly what's happened. With an incident like this, you don't want to be speculating. You want to know the hard facts with what's happening, and yeah, that's what we cover here on Theme Park Worldwide. I'm not one of them newspapers that start speculating. This happened. These are the facts so far. A young boy fell from the ride. He's gone to hospital, and the good news is he's alive. And it's not a life-threatening injury. So Lightwater Valley themselves have said that the park is going to be continue to open over the next few days. There's no plans to close the park. It did remain open once the incident took place yesterday as well. However, that ride was closed straight away. So, of course, everyone's thoughts here at Theme Park Worldwide are with the family affected, the young boy, and with the park that are dealing with this incident as well. I just want to make sure that, we're clear that in terms of with news like this, you've got to focus on them facts. A lot of rumours spread around with stuff like this very quickly, especially with social media, and it's a very serious incident for everyone involved. And it affects all the parks. When something happens, it's like the Smiler incident at Alton Towers back in 2015. When that happened, it affected a lot of operations at other parks. The same with the Splash Canyon incident on the rapids at Drayton Manor. That affected rapids at parks across the world. So it's all the different consequences that one thing happening on a ride can happen and takes place from that. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now. And of course, I'll share an update if I hear any more. But very sad news from Lightwater Valley. Moving on from that upsetting news there to talk about Untamed at Walibi Holland. That's just over a month away from opening. This looks absolutely incredible. I've shared a lot of updates from that all throughout the construction phase. I just want to say a big thank you to Scott from Walibi Holland, who's been sharing some absolutely fantastic images over on his Facebook page. So make sure you go and check it out. It's a public page. Anyone can go over there and like it. And yeah, here's a few images from his page that he shared this week. So definitely go over and check it out. And yeah, let's have a look. Here's a really nice overview with the coaster in the background there, the lift hill, that first drop, some of the other elements on the ride, and the whole lake there as well. It looks wonderful, doesn't it? Just the setting of it, all within the wilderness themed area that's also new for this year. It's already starting to look overgrown, isn't it? And that's what they want. And let's look at the inside the station here. And talking of overgrown, look at all the ceiling there, all the details. It looks great. I like all the station at the front there as well. It's a very different style theme to this ride, so I'm looking forward to seeing it all complete. I think until you walk into the queue line and the station and see it all, it's quite hard to imagine, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the finished product with this one. And yeah, let's have a look at the all-important update, and that's the fact this week the train has gone on the track. And look at this, from the photo that is took there, we can't see the Zero car right at the front, or well, just the top of it, but looking back there at the train and a bit of the ride in the background, yeah, the detailing on the train looks really good, better than in the promotional images in my opinion. It looks very ultra modern, like it's, whizzing through this wilderness area. And yeah, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to ride it at the end of July. Would have gone out there earlier, but obviously we're on the US trip. So we'll be going out towards the end of July for this one, but it does look wonderful. And once again, a big thank you to Scott for those images. Of course, now the train is on the track, testing is imminent. Like at the time of recording this video, which is very, very late on Thursday evening, like no testings took place. However, by the time it's on at 5 o'clock on Friday, now you're watching it, there could have been some testing. So it's one of those with this project, isn't it? Anytime right now, there's going to be test trains going around, and I'm sure there'll be someone out there on YouTube who'll capture that first testing footage, much like we did with Icon at Blackpool. There's Dutch fans out there waiting for that ride to test, and it's that excitement, it's the anticipation of waiting for a ride that certainly is fantastic. That's all for the news then this week. It's now time for Where Am I? Where am I? So after a couple of weeks of the images being quite easy, last week was quite a hard one, and I know a lot of you really struggled with this. However, there was a couple of people what did actually manage to get this one right, which is amazing, because bear in mind it was just me and a little bit of flooring, and that flooring somewhere that I'm actually on the way to right now, and that's Europa Park in Germany. Here is the full image. I was down the entrance plaza looking very smart actually. Well, I like to think I look smart, that's about as smart as I get. And yeah, unless you follow me on Instagram and you saw me at a wedding the other week, a family wedding, I was in my full suit. Give us a follow on Instagram if you haven't already. It's at Sean Sandbrook. That's away from the Theme Park Worldwide one. I post a lot of other things on there that you might want to see what I get up to away from the parks. But yeah, enough plugging my own Instagram. Yeah, in terms of that photo, it was on the entrance plaza at Europa Park after a lovely meal over at the Silver Lake Saloon, and yeah, it's wonderful there. So well done to the couple of people, literally a couple, that got that one right last week. It's time for another image, and of course this will be the final one before the US trip, and I'll reveal exactly what this image is in next Friday's last episode before that big trip. So here we go. Where is this zoomed in image? Comment down below just for fun, and I'll reveal exactly where it is next Friday at 5 here on Theme Park Worldwide. So we have reached the final segment of this week's episode. It is your theme park moments. The part of the show where you get to send in different photos, whether it's an on-ride photo, you out the front of a ride doing a crazy selfie, or anything theme park related, get it sent in to us. Also, if you know that it's a friend or family member's birthday, get it sent in, maybe with a birthday photo, and we'll give you a special shout out in next week's episode. I must say as well, if you do want anything to be featured by next Friday's episode, please have it sent in to us by Wednesday, because it's going to be filmed a little bit in advance, just so I can get packed and everything ready to go for the big US trip. So here we go then. First photo is coming from Luke. We've got a picture there with me. Next up we've got Heather and River on Wickerman, and I hope that's not a spelling mistake. River, I assume that is your name there, and we did double check it. So yes, thank you very much for sending that one in. Moving on from that, we've got Oliver and friends at Rainbow Park just here. Next up then we've got Jess on Steel Vengeance, so thanks for sending that one in. Can't wait to be back on that in a few weeks. Then got Alan with his brick there at Alton Towers on the plaza. Wonder if it's anywhere near me in Charlotte's. Then got Jess with Winnie the Pooh at Disney. Had a great time at Disneyland Paris, and then vlogs will be coming up on the channel within the next week or so. Moving on, we've got Dan and Laurie at Busch Gardens. And then we've got Lee and his daughter with Mickey Mouse, the one and only. Thanks for sharing that one. Up next then we've got Benjamin at Six Flags. And then we've got Nathan, who had a picture with Mr. Lee Wood, everybody. We've then got Joey with a Walking Dead The Ride on-ride photo. And then we've got Matthew at Thorpe Park, so thanks for sending those in, guys. We've then got Sarah with a Stampeder on-ride photo from Portaventura. And then Matthew at Oakwood in Wales as well. And then we've got Gabby, who had a picture there with Alex. And then we've got Josh with a Nemesis on-ride photo. Moving on from that, we've got Anne and Flo at Phantasialand. Hope you had an absolutely fantastic time. It's a great park, wonderful theming. Then got Harvey, who had a picture there with Alex. Matthew also had a picture with Mr. Lee Wood, everybody. They got Megan with Mr. Tetley at Thorpe Park. There we go. Don't know why I said that in a northern accent. It was awful, but there you go. We then got Lee with the Tidal Wave on-ride photo. Then we got Mike with the Topfield Dragster on-ride photo just there. Jenny and friends up next at Thorpe Park. And then we got Jack also at Thorpe Park. Moving on, we got Toby with a stealth on-ride photo from, you guessed it, Thorpe Park. They got Dan with a Velociraptor on-ride photo that's not at Thorpe Park. Thanks for sending that one in. They got Paul and Oscar on stealth, that is definitely at Thorpe Park. Gavin at Disneyland Paris, hope you had a magical trip. They got Chris and Dylan with a Shambhala on-ride photo from Portaventura. Callum and Declan are up next on Baron 1898, or Acton Achteneckenen, as I say it in my poor Dutch accent there, I'm really bad at it. Finally, we got Florence and Amelia, who had a photo there with me as well. Amelia, I think I said it right, something like that. You know what our pronunciation's like, it's terrible. But there we go, thanks for sending that one in, it was lovely to meet you. We've also got the birthdays, so happy birthday to Jack, Baz, Tyler and also Amelia as well. And there we go, that is the end of this week's episode. Hope you've enjoyed watching. I know it's not the most glamorous background compared to all my different theme park mugs, but literally there was nothing else really around to do as a background, and I've been that busy in the parks filming the vlogs that I thought, yeah, the hotel is going to have to do with that wonderful blue and white wall behind me. But there you go, I'll be back next Friday in the world of theme parks for that final episode before the USA trip. It is going to be absolutely awesome. I'm Sean Sandbrook, thanks for watching Theme Park Worldwide, and I'll see you next Friday. That means it's time to cue those credits.